Hello, hello, hello. Good vok, everyone. Moshe Shabbos Kukas. Amazing. We have Kukas, we have the Paradumo, we had Moshe Rabbeinu hitting the rock instead of talking to it. We have the copper snake, all exceedingly mysterious things. Oh Hashem. The main union of this is, by the way, is a shir of Sichos Haran and Sipurey Baal Shem Tov. So Rabbi Nosson talks about it, so that he speaks about, the Kadosh Baruch Hu sent an neshama, which is obviously what I call the God particle, the chelik Elokam Imao, and that neshama has to get down into a body, which is like the furthest thing possible. It's totally gashmis. Now that is the reason why Hashem created the world. So neshama can go into a body from here. So whenever it is that the neshama succumbs to, um, a physical temptation, so there are various ways of getting them together again, of reconciling, bringing the highest entity of all, which is the neshama, and reconcile it with the body, which is the lowest. So some transgressions, it's just a love, and some you have to bring korbanos, and some is kores, some is even misa. But the ultimate separation between an neshama and the body, obviously, is tumas mes. That the tumor, the defilement is so severe that it's not just when a person touches a deceased. What happens is when the neshama leaves the body completely. In Dafka, the Jewish body attracts the greatest amount of klipos, of husks and tumah, because it commensurate with the incredible kedusha of the neshama that was there. So the minute the neshama vacates the body becomes an attraction for all the tumas in the world in such a way that there's no way to reconcile, to get rid of this particular tumah, unless there is a para aduma, a red heifer, and when the special water, it has to be burnt. Then it has to be burnt outside the Beis Hamikdash. You have to have a plain, straight line of sight to the Holy of Holies. But it's done outside the Beis Hamikdash, unlike any other korban. It's like mysteries from here, literally to kingdom come. So but that's there's a tikkun to everything. There's a tikkun to everything. So let's start with the Ma'aseh for Baal Shem HaKodesh. So B'ezrat Hashem will guarantee us, B'ezrat Hashem, grant us, guarantee, but grant us a wonderful week, B'ezrat Hashem, wonderful Chodesh. B'ezrat Hashem, Shmir to Klal Yisrael. We'll have, Tammuz and Av, which are never easy months. And B'ezrat Hashem will come out of the other side, B'ezrat Hashem, happy and in one piece and everything good. So in the very beginning of his way, when the Baal Shem Tov was still a tzaddik nister, he used to go from one village to the other, get together with the simple Jews and be mechazik them. So he came to the town of Brod. It was a very famous town. The clois of Brod were tremendous Talmidei Chachamim that learned there. And when he's there, he saw a Jew that looked like a porter. And the Baal Shem Tov, had the eyes, he could see things. He could see the world as it is. Everybody else, all the rest of us are like moving in the dark. The Baal Shem Tov looked at him, and he saw, besides a simple porter, he saw that there was a great light on top of his head. So the name of this Jew was Hershel Tzig. So Baal Shem Tov said that this is probably a hidden tzaddik. And he davened to Kadosh Baruch Hu, so he'd be able to meet this man and speak to him. So as the Baal Shem Tov, followed, as it were, he paid attention to this Jew for 3 days, and he saw he's a porter and he grows goats. That was what he was doing. So the Baal Shem Tov turned to Beshel Tzig. Tzig is it's a tzigala, it's a goat. And he asked him if he can buy from him goat's milk. Oh, of course, happily. Come to my house and drink goat's milk. No payment necessary. He came to this hut, where he lived, this tzigla lived. And they came there. There were four goats there. He came to them, petted them. Then he milked a glass of goat's milk. He sifted it, and he gave it to his guest. And then he sat by the table and opened up his heart before this guest, something that he has never done before. And he said as follows. He says, 10 years prior, his wife, Tzadekis, was Tznias Dik Tzadekis, Balas Chesed. The main mitzvah that she was into was Bikuch Cholim, visiting the sick. And after she passed away, she came to me in my dream and said to me, what is the great mitzvah of doing chesed with somebody else, and what schar there is to do chesed with every Jew. And she said about all these neshamas that were, was advocating for her. All the neshamas that she did favors to came advocating for her. Every single Jew in the Shemayim is an unbelievable schus. And he says, listen, I'm a very simple Jew. I don't know even how to learn. So he said, the only thing that I can do is my wife told me that I should do chesed and warned me not to let anybody know of what I do. So I did what she said. I bought, with the money that I earned, from carrying, I bought 4 goats, and I give them this, really, really good feed, so they will give really, excellent milk. The goats I milk, and I give their milk to poor people, to sick people. Mechazik says, and if you ask me, why am I telling you this story? I'll tell you. Last night, he says, his wife came to him in a dream, and he said that tomorrow, and the next day, she said, you will meet a Jew that will ask you for a glass of milk. He says, invite him to your house. and tell him everything that you do. And by him, you'll have tremendous bracha. And the Baal Shem finished his story. And now the Baal Shem Tov understood what is this incredible light that's on top of the head of this Jew through his the tzedakah and the chesed that he does. And from that moment, that day on, the Baal Shem Tov added him to the Chabur of Tzaddikim Historian. And he taught him his Torah. And once the Baal Shem Tov taught him, he started going up in the Torah and Avodah, but never stopped to Ma'aseh Chesed as he did until his last day. And B'ezrat Hashem, this chus of this story of the Baal Shem HaKodesh, we bezeichen to Merabah Mitzvahs Ahavas Yisrael, doing Chesed, Gashmis, Ruchnius, starting with the people of our household. B'ezrat Hashem, we bezeichen to Gvul Shlem, B'ezrat Hashem, and be guarded from all evil and all bad and all suffering, B'ezrat Hashem. Now, the thing that is an amazing story that I heard. I don't recall exactly the details of this story, but it also has to do with somebody, some kind of a tzaddik or tzaddikas that had a dream that, if I recall the story correctly, in the dream, she saw two very, very choshev women that passed away, and one of them was shining with tremendous light, and the other one was same, but but not. She wasn't as radiant as the first one. And whoever it is that dreamt it, I don't remember who it was. She said she asked him if she knew these both women were dealing a lot with chesed. And so she asked him, why one of them is so radiant and the other was not. So the one who was radiant told her that there was a Chapura woman in town. I don't exactly remember the details. And she said, we both, we're going in and see, we were both, greeting her and telling her, giving her shalom. She said, but my friend here just said shalom to her. I said shalom to her and I smiled. The radiance she got was for the smile. The difference between doing chesed and doing chesed with a smile. You see, we take things, we talk about how great things are, how great mitzvahs are, how great this or that is. Well, we have no idea. We have no idea, how far it goes and to what distance it goes. And what does it mean it's a great thing? A great thing is not just a slogan, it's a great thing. I don't have the words, to say. It's just like Surah Kodesh Baruch Hu, goodness is infinite. Kodesh Baruch Hu is infinite, goodness is infinite. And anybody who knows a little bit of math knows that when you're dealing with infinity mathematically, any part of infinity is infinite. Like, how many parts can you divide infinity? Infinite. But truth be told, you can divide any number, any distance. Take an inch. To how many parts can you divide it? Infinite parts. And what about 2 inches? How many parts can you divide? infinite. So what's greater, to what can you divide more parts? 1 inch or 2 inches? It's twice as much. How can it be twice as much? It's both infinite. When we talk about infinite, the regular laws of math just disappear. We're talking about goodness, talking about the mitzvah, the doing the Ratzon of Hashem. A smile, as opposed to just doing chesed without the smile, is infinite. It's infinite. Shem Zak has to do favors with each other, with a smile. Listen, you're not going to suffer for it, right? Just going to get infinity. Okay, let's take a look at the Sichos Haran for this week. Here we go. Here's another Sicha that is dealing with how far we are from comprehending the levels of the things that we're dealing with. With the Sicha 280. It also says, Shamati Bishmoy, I heard by the Rebbe's name. They said, Le'inyan, the fact that it's tzaddikim are moving from place to place. And he says as follows. He says, there are neshamas that have been driven away, that cannot be elevated, except through that the tzaddik is moving back and forth. V'yesh tzaddik, and there's a tzaddik that does not want, to be moving, around the country. But nevertheless, he's moving to and fro in his house. In other words, the fact that he's walking from this wall to that wall and back, this is a bechina of navanad, and with this, he's elevating neshamas that cannot be helped in any other way. We're talking here, we said in last week's shir, we're talking about the greatness of the tzaddik. We have absolutely no idea what we're talking about. Virosan speaks about it and said, people wonder about the greatness that we attribute to tzaddikim. For some people feel uncomfortable with it. Like, it's just a human being. What are you talking about? So the answer is that you have no idea what a human being is. As we said before, Pashas Chukas, a human being is a neshama, which is pure godliness, that is cloaked and hidden inside a body. Inside Gashmis. What is a tzaddik? A tzaddik is someone who has peeled away the layers of Gashmis from his neshama. So automatically, the light of the neshama is amplified. In other words, the greatness of the tzaddik is not through addition, but subtraction. The tzaddik has stripped his body, and all that shines is just a neshama. And the greatest of the neshama is infinite. So the asog of the tzaddikim, what the tzaddikim can do, is also infinite. It's totally impossible for us to quantify it, to say anything about it. What do we understand about neshamas? Commensurate with how they peeled off the guy. It's not only just them, but us as well. Each and every one of us. Commensurate with how a person peels off his gashmius. This is how his neshama shines. And the tikkunim that I've done with him, according to what he does, his tefillas, his brachas, whatever. We're dealing with a tzaddik, that they were tzaddikim, that they're all tzaddikei emes. They're all true tzaddikim. We're not just, I'm not going to talk about Rabbeinu, who's the nekudas emes between the tzaddikim. We're talking about all the tzaddikim. They're all tzaddikei emes. And they can fix neshamas that were lost. Rabbeinu says in Likutei Moharan is that David HaMelech says that David HaMelech cursed certain Rishonim, that there will be like straw that grows on roofs, that a person doesn't pick them off. What is this? The answer, Rabbeinu says, is that when people pick off, straw, they take off the sheaf, whatever, there's a tikkun. The neshamas that are incarnated in wheat, they get a tikkun when they're being cut and when it's being ground and being made bread out of the whatever it is that is done with it, or is eaten by an animal, and then an animal after being shechten is eaten, and so forth and so on. He says, but the straw that they used to weave roofs from, nobody ever picks. So the neshama that would be stuck in there can have no tikkun. It is known that many stories about the Baal Shem HaKodesh that used to go to very faraway places, and go to a certain fountain and just take a little water and make a bracha on it. And why? Because there was a yid that was incarnated in a, I think it's a frog or whatever it is. It has no tikkun. Hashem Tov came over there to make a bracha, to give a tikkun to that neshama. We're talking about tzaddikim of unbelievable and immeasurable greatness, moving from one wall to the next in their room. And this is like tzaddikim are moving throughout the land. As Rabbeinu says, that it is through Eila Masay Bnei Yisrael and Eila Shmos Bnei Yisrael. These are the names of Bnei Yisrael. These are the Masay, the travelings of Bnei Yisrael. That the tikkun that is made by simply saying the name of the tzaddikim, by the movement that tzaddikim do, is it says Eila Masay Shamayim V'Aretz. It changes, it's creating a new heavens, creating a new earth, creating a new world. We have absolutely no idea the immense greatness of what it means to be a Jew, what it means to be a tzaddik. The emunah that we need in HaKadosh Baruch Hu, in the Torah, in tzaddikim, and in ourselves, and the kedusha of our own Yiddishkeit, it can only be revealed through the darkness. We keep on stumbling into one darkness after the other. And we need to look for Eitzah, or how to get out of that, how to deal with this, how to deal with that. And when a person gets into darkness and he's looking for an Eitzah, the Eitzah can be born only through darkness. But that depends. If a person goes through darkness and he speaks and he has tightness, he's whining about the Kodesh Baruch Hu, why am I going through this? The darkness, chas v'chalila, that he's in will lead him to a deeper darkness. But if a person is in darkness, they asking Kodesh Baruch Hu to give him an Eitzah, the advice comes out of the darkness itself. You never have a solution without having a problem before. Somebody who has no problems has no solutions. And it is through the darkness that we get the solutions. There's a very, very deep Indian, the Torah Hay, Chelik Sheni, that digs waters from which the Emunah grows. The whole thing is to ultimately get us to Emunah. But Hashem, we'll talk more. We'll learn more. I wish you and me and Klal Yisrael a fantastic week. Begashmias and Beruchnias should all be blessed in health and in parnasa, in relationships, and Yeshua's and Nechomas to each and every one of us. Kol Tov B'ezrat Hashem, and a very good week.